When I tell people this story now, most of them either don't believe me, or they think I'm leaving out some huge detail to make myself look better. But this is exactly how it happened, and it ruined my life in a way I still can't fully explain. It started on an ordinary Thursday morning. I was in the kitchen of my small apartment in Charlotte drinking coffee that had gone lukewarm in the mud, scrolling through emails before heading to work. The light outside was that washed-out gray that makes everything feel a bit hollow. My phone buzzed, and it was a message from Claire, my direct manager. "Can you come to our immediately when you get in?" My stomach dipped. No good morning, no explanation. Just straight to HR. I rinsed my mug, put on my shoes with hands that felt suddenly clumsy, and told myself it was probably nothing. Maybe a routine check-in, maybe something about last quarter's reports. I tried to believe it. But when I got there, two people were already waiting. Claire, perched on the edge of a chair, and a woman from her named Sandra, who I'd only spoken to twice before. The air in the windowless room was thick. Someone had sprayed too much lemon-scented disinfectant, and it caught in the back of my throat. They looked at me like I'd grow a second head. Sandra pushed a printed photo across the table toward me. "Do you want to explain this?" she asked. I looked down. It was a grainy security camera still. Me, or at least someone who looked exactly like me, standing in the lobby of what I recognized instantly as the Wilford Hotel in downtown Charleston. My hair, my coat, my exact black leather handbag. Date and time stamp, last Friday night, 11:47 p.m. The thing was, I wasn't in Charleston last Friday. I was 300 miles away in Charlotte, having a lazy night in with my boyfriend, Ben. We ordered Chinese food, watched a Netflix documentary, and I'd fallen asleep on the couch halfway through with the carton of sesame chicken balanced on my chest. "That's not me," I said, trying to keep my voice calm. "I wasn't in Charleston." Sandra's mouth tightened. "The woman in this photo checked in under your name, using your driver's license, which you provided to the front desk. She paid with a credit card in your name." I blinked. "So someone stole my wallet?" Claire shook her head. "Your card was used to pay for dinner with a client, when we've explicitly told you not to have personal contact with outside of work hours." My mind scrambled to connect dots that didn't make sense. I don't know what's going on, but that wasn't me. I have my license, my credit card. I dug them out of my wallet with shaking hands and dropped them on the table. The plastic clattered. They stared. Sandra slid them toward herself like she was inspecting counterfeit bills. "You understand this client filed a complaint about inappropriate conduct?" Sandra's voice was somewhere between bored and pitying. My skin went cold. "I didn't even talk to him outside of work," I said quickly. "Ben and I were together all night. He can vouch for me." "We'll be speaking to him," Sandra interrupted. "But right now, you're on unpaid leave while we investigate." Just like that, I was escorted out of the building. My coworkers stared as I left, and I could already feel the rumors forming, like the charge in the air before a thunderstorm. The elevator ride down was silent except for the faint buzz of the fluorescent lights. I pressed my forehead against the cold window of the lobby and tried not to cry. At home, Ben was furious on my behalf. He confirmed everything. How we'd been together all night, how I hadn't even left the apartment. We even checked the food delivery receipt. It had my name and timestamp of delivery at 9:17 p.m. in Charlotte. "This is insane," he said. "It's identity theft, plain and simple." He paced the kitchen, running his hands through his hair, muttering about lawyers and police reports. I tried to let his confidence soothe me, but the way Sandra had looked at me kept replaying in my head. She didn't believe a word of it. Maybe no one did. The next week was hell. Charlie emailed me updates that basically said nothing, and my so-called friends at work either ghosted me or sent awkward one. Liners like "hope you're okay" or "let me know if you need anything." Their words felt as empty as the hours I spent refreshing my inbox, hoping for a real update. My apartment became a kind of prison. I started noticing every little creak in the floorboards, every drip from the bathroom faucet. I rearranged the cabinets, scrubbed the grout in the kitchen, tried to read but couldn't focus on anything longer than a headline. Ben was there, but he was different. Quieter, tense, as if afraid my misfortune might be contagious. Then on Wednesday I got a call from the Charleston Police Department. The officer wanted to confirm a few details about an incident at the Wilford. My voice was shaking as I told him I wasn't there. He said the woman had signed for room service, drinks, and left with the client. On camera. And again, the hotel had scanned my license. "Can you send me the footage?" I asked. He said it was part of an ongoing investigation and couldn't be released yet. He sounded tired, like he'd heard 100 stories like mine before. That night, Ben was quiet. Too quiet. He wouldn't look at me directly. When I asked what was wrong, he hesitated before saying, "Look, are you sure you don't know anything about this?" "Yes, it's weird. Whoever this was had your ID, your card, your clothes." "Ben, I swear to you," I said, fighting tears, "I didn't do this." "I wouldn't." He nodded, but I could see doubt in his eyes, the same flicker I'd seen in Sanders. I wanted to scream. The walls of our apartment, once cozy, felt like they were closing in. The worst part? 2 days later, and was gone. No fight, no long explanation. Just a short note on the counter saying he needed space and thought I should figure things out. Losing him hurt almost as much as losing my job. I sat on the edge of the bed, holding the note, feeling like I'd been hollowed out from the inside. Weeks passed. I stopped emailing me. My bills piled up on the kitchen counter, little reminders of the life that was unraveling by the day. I applied for other jobs, but as soon as they checked references, the offers evaporated. I started to worry about things I'd never worried about before. Rent, groceries, the car payment. My world shrank to the size of my apartment and the glow of my phone screen. One night, while scrolling through social media in a haze of sleeplessness, I froze. There was a photo of Maya, my old coworker, in Charleston. Same lobby, same hotel. Posted the same weekend I was supposedly there. My fingers shook as I scrolled through her feed. And then I saw it, a photo of her at a rooftop bar with that client. She tagged the location, and the date matched exactly. My mind started racing. Maya and I looked similar. Same height, similar build, both brunette with shoulder-length hair. If she'd worn my coat. God. My coat. 3 weeks before all this happened, I'd left it at the office after a late night. The next morning Maya had returned it to me, smiling. "You left this on your chair," she'd said. "And my handbag." I remembered her borrowing it once for a lunch meeting when hers broke. She knew my style. She knew exactly how to mimic me. A memory bubbled up from months earlier. Maya in the bathroom, fussing with her hair, glancing at me in the mirror. "Do you ever feel like you're invisible here?" she'd asked, her voice a whisper. I'd shrugged, said something about how we just had to keep our heads down, keep doing the work. "Easy for you to say," she'd muttered, and I dismissed it as one of her moods. Now I wondered what else I'd missed. I called the hotel in Charleston, pretending to be from a law firm, and asked if they could verify ID scans for a client case. It was a long shot, but the manager on duty must have been new. He emailed me the scan within an hour. I opened it and nearly dropped my phone. It was my driver's license. But when I zoomed in, I saw the edges were slightly blurred, the numbers lost center. A fake. Whoever had made it was good, but not perfect. I printed everything. Maya's social media posts, the hotel scan, the delivery receipt from Charlotte, and took it to a lawyer. He listened, flipping through the evidence, then leaned back. "This is deliberate impersonation. She framed you." It turned out Maya had been gunning for a promotion I was the frontrunner for. If she could tarnish my reputation, she could slide right into the spot. She even had the help of someone in admin who processed travel expenses. Someone who'd vouch for me being in Charleston. With subpoenas, we got the hotel security footage. And there she was, Maya, in my coat, carrying a handbag identical to mine, arm in arm with the client. When she checked in, she'd glanced at the camera with the faintest smirk. The lawsuit was brutal. Var had to admit they'd done no real investigation before suspending me. Maya lost her job, the client dropped the company, and I got a settlement big enough to keep me afloat. But the damage was already done. My relationship with Ben was over for good. He'd moved on with someone else. My old friends from work never came back into my life. And my reputation, well, in my industry, whispers travel faster than truth. I found a new job eventually, in a different city, under a different name. But every time I walk into a hotel lobby, I feel eyes on me, like they're waiting to see if I'll cause trouble. Sometimes, late at night, I replay everything and wonder if I could have stopped it. If I'd seen Maya's jealousy sooner, if I'd locked my coat away, if I'd been more careful with my trust. I remember the last time I saw her during the depositions. She walked past me, in the hallway outside the lawyer's office, her eyes darting everywhere but mine. I wanted to shout, to demand an explanation, but I just watched her walk away, her heels clicking on the tile, her back impossibly straight. Months after, I dreamt I was back in that hotel lobby, everyone staring, waiting for me to confess to something I hadn't done. I'd wake up sweating, reaching for Ben, forgetting for a moment that he was never coming back. Sometimes I wonder if that's what I wanted all along. Not just my job, but the knowledge that she'd taken something I could never fully get back. The truth is, I'm not sure I'll ever trust the way I did before. But I know this, when you've been through hell, you learn to trust your gut. You learn that sometimes surviving is the only victory you get. And you learn, most of all, that even when you've done everything right, sometimes it's not enough. The world will believe what it wants, and you're left to pick up the pieces. One sleepless night at a time.